Hello, Brother Monroe here. Welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, and today another post-commentary video recorded some time after the fact, actually, because of all the power cuts I've had. We have 4 British battleships against 6 Japanese and 4 battlecruisers with an 8-year tech advantage, which is significant, 1940 versus 1932, but there isn't too much extra stuff you get, although you do get access to a little bit between those 2 dates. So, jumping in, I have a couple of previous designs, but I scrub it and decide to start afresh with the design. So I'm just going to increase the playback speed a little bit. Nothing too shocking here. I go for kind of the best tower in the matching rear tower that I can get my hands on. And my thought really is just to see where the build goes. There were a couple of requests. I do consider going with gas turbines, given how late in the game it is. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you've had success with gas turbine engines. But for me, on this hull, I was, talking about 26 knots. Really, just was not giving me the horsepower I needed. Whereas a double diesel let me go at a reasonable speed. You see here, I'm able to push the speed up to, well, pretty much as high as I want. But 33 knots I thought was plenty fast. Would be rivaling kind of an Iowa at that stage. 6-inch secondaries and some 3-inch and 2-inch, well, AA guns basically, but they're more there for the aesthetics. Obviously, in a capital ship fight, they're not going to be doing much, but it feels wrong to kind of design a ship. And the request was to do a realistic ship. I go with the giant barbette purely for aesthetics. I love the wave break on it. And, yeah, I think about going with 20-inch guns. Because why not? I reckoned I could get ABX triple 20s on, perhaps, with the maximum size super battleship. But as it turns out, that does require some compromises. I stick with the tube powder. I completely forgot, by the way, to change the armor quality. And if you're watching this back, I'm pretty sure Twitch chat reminds me. I already have an all or nothing scheme set up from the previous ship. So I kind of want to go with that. But I'm so far overweight, I'm not really sure what to do with myself. And here I'm asking Twitch chat for advice. And they say, why weren't you using the gas turbines? And I show them, well, if I go for gas turbines, I actually have less engine efficiency. And they're heavier. Geared turbines as well doesn't get me fast enough. So I really am a big fan of the diesel, marine diesels at the moment. In 104, they seem to like a really good option. The diesel 2s with an auxiliary diesel. There we go. I noticed the or chat notices the Crypt 4. We get that fixed, but I'm still 7% overweight. So here, the decision, as always, I mean, I've reduced speed to 30 knots already. Here, the decision is, do you reduce speed more? I think I've reduced it enough. Do you reduce firepower? Or do you reduce protection? And that is always kind of the way. I decided to reduce protection in the form of the torpedo belt. Going down to double bottom hull and a triple torpedo bulkhead gets me under. I'm just looking at the prices there, with and without crew. It is an expensive ship. There's no doubt about that. But it does have everything. That was someone doing a raid, I think. And we get the ship balanced out, and I'm pretty pleased with her. She's 30 knots, reasonably well protected. Just the torpedo protection that's lacking. And plenty of guns, plenty of armor. But you have to make sacrifices somewhere if you want 20-inch guns, as the British. I reckon if I'd gone with 18s, I could have kept all that lovely protection, which is probably what in real life would have happened. But yeah, 9 20-inch guns, pretty powerful, and I'm pretty pleased with the design. And I'm pretty sure I don't change it after this. Did Mrs. Monroe come down at this point? Yeah, something happened when I was doing the live recording. So we get into it, and the AI, I think, produces some reasonable designs here. So 6 Yamato-looking things and 4 battlecruisers is pretty much what we end up with. And here they are. 6, I believe they were 20 or 19-inch guns. They're big anyway. So my suspicion is that they have sacrifice speed or protection. As it turns out, they sacrifice speed. The battlecruisers didn't look too bad to me. Slightly unusual arrangement, but not crazy. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a good scrap. 4v10 in terms of capital ships is never going to be easy. I think the ships look absolutely magnificent in a line of battle like that. I love shots like this in Ultimate Admiral. Absolutely love that you can get shots like this. Now then, the enemy's coming straight in, pretty much. But we're still out of range. Chat here now asks me to slow down, I think. And we have a bit of a chat about. So I'm moving to come into sort of converging lines. And now we're able to open fire. So we have a little bit of a range advantage. I'm not expecting too much to start off with, but you see there we already got a hit. And we got a 6% accuracy right away, which is really quite nice. So we're actually able to get some damage in on the lead warship straight away. I've already scored another hit, but it was a ricochet. And then we get another pen. And these are main deck pens, because of the extreme range. Yeah, really, really nice. The Japanese sensibly realised that they probably can't win a long-range duel if I'm able to go through their main decks accurately. You can see here the ship's already lost about a quarter of its structural integrity. Just going to speed up the video a little bit. Because this long-range duel continues for a bit. So chat here has asked me to set to full speed rather than flank. And I oblige. But what you can see here is ships really do take a very long time to slow down. But in this particular case, that is actually what I want, because I'm quite happy with this arrangement, firing at very long range. I finally take a return hit from a 19-inch gun. You see here, even though my speed is set at 24, we're still doing 28, 29 in some cases. But big hits coming in on the lead enemy ship, down to about 50% structure already. Just get past this kind of opening phase. So here we have the Zuyo. And I do have a quick look at her. She's got good armour. 17-inch main belt, 10-inch main deck. That's chunky armour. So these are not lightly armoured ships at all. They're not actually as slow as I remember. 28.8 knots. And yeah, 6 19-inch guns. Maybe a little bit low on the old firepower stakes. But, you know, they're heavy shells, cordite TNT3. They're not terrible by any means. And of course they are 19-inch, which is nothing too bad. I'm comparing costs a little bit. We have much more expensive ships. Mostly due to the crew, but still. I was surprised by how much damage we've done this early in the battle. Start getting flooding hits as well. Zuyo now moving out of the line, turning her undamaged side on, but doesn't stay undamaged for very long. Get a large number of ricochets there. But now the enemy battle cruisers are starting to get into range, but they're not really able to do very much at this range anyway. Try and focus down Zuyo. She comes bow on, so I try a little bit of HE, but then we change targets and it's a bit of a mess. So decide to let her go for now and concentrate on the ship that's coming in. Do pretty huge amounts of damage on that initial kind of retargeting. Just a lot of firepower coming in. Again, she turns bow on, and I get a lot of ricochets as a result. But she keeps turning through, so the next salvo is going to do a lot of damage. My line seems a bit messed up. Warspite going a bit faster than she should, which I found hilarious because the historical Warspite was famous for having steering issues. But here, this is where things really start to go wrong for the Japanese. So they lose the Huger, and I'm playing this back at normal speed, although I'm playing it ×5. And with their first capital ship down, we're in a very nasty range against the enemy, where hits will absolutely punch through their protection, thick as it is. And the Soyu takes 6, 7 hits in rapid succession. No critical hits. We do finally take a pretty nasty hit on the Eagle through the aft belt, which of course is not particularly well protected. But it doesn't hurt anything because there's nothing there for it to hurt. Although I do notice during the battle that hit in particular did, I think, more damage because the rear gun turret is actually further back than I realised. So I would probably move the guns around. I think I show that at the end, how it would change the gun layouts. Yeah, I'm just looking here. Swisher and Warspite kind of getting a bit tangled up because of Warspite zooming ahead. I break up the division and go to independent action. And I'm trying to get each ship to focus on a different on a target that it can hit, and it won't get ricochets on. I also noticed the battle cruisers are now close enough to start causing some annoyance with their, what kind of guns have they got again? I've completely forgotten. 13-inch. Yeah, so they're small, but you know that damage can mount up. My own ships are starting to take damage. Not critical damage, but you know they've taken a fair amount of their structure down. So I do consider it important to deal with that. Accuracy here is going through the roof. 70% is crazy good at these kind of ranges. Yeah, battle cruisers out the front are starting to worry me, but the battleships with their big 19-inch guns are far more of a threat, so I kind of want them dealt with. But Warspite here, I feel that the battle cruisers are close enough, so Warspite turns her attention towards them. I notice they have not very much armour. I'll leave it on. I think I leave it on automatic for now, just to see what will happen with AP shells. Oh no, I don't. I've already seen that. So yeah, switch it to HE just to see what will happen. And yeah, the HE shells have no problem going through the armour. They're so huge and exploding right inside the ship and doing absolutely insane amounts of damage. Thousands of points of damage at a time. And yeah, that's a battlecruiser taken out in one salvo, basically. Warspite's taken a bit of a beating, though. She's the closest ship. Swiftsure is trying to provide relief by firing on the... Well, the other ships are basically trying to take the pressure off by taking out the enemy battleships, but it does get a bit hectic. Again, massive damage. Absolutely colossal damage to the battlecruisers by Warspite. Just basically lapping them away. And yeah, the second one shaken apart by the 20-inch high explosive shells. Heisen is dead on, and I'm getting a lot of ricochets off her. The other battleship on the right is pretty much sunk. Zuho at the back is pretty much sunk, because all of their ships have taken a fair old beating. And here we kind of see a bit of a batting collapse. Suo goes down, so they've lost quite a lot of ships quite rapidly. I mean, the first battleship that I sunk is still on the map, sinking up in the top left of the screen. Yeah, Heisen gets some HE shells, courtesy of Warspite, and I'm curious how they do. And they don't do much, because those ships are sufficiently well protected. But pretty much only Soyu is undamaged. We then get a torpedo launch from the battleships, which I'd completely missed. So I do order the ships to try and avoid that. But they only carry a couple, so I'm not overly concerned. And I also think that the enemy's about to try and run, so I want to start closing in anyway. Again, massive amounts of damage going in. I'm pretty sure that lead battleship there, the Heisen, is sunk already. There's the torpedo. Like, she's got flooding everywhere. Warspite is taking a lot of hits, but she's still going. But I ordered to start moving out of the battle area. Yeah, 25 hits from 19-inch guns is going to mess you up. Heisen sinks. Warspite's not done, though. Feels obliged to take out half of the Kurosawa's structure with a single hit. But the other battleships are moving in to provide some relief. Thunderer and Eagle. And Swiftsure is behind, providing cover as well. Yeah, Hosho and Sui are pretty badly hurt. There's then an ammo debt on Hosho, and Karasawa sinks at the same time. But yeah, Hosho got hit by a 20-inch hit, and I really wanted to see who did that. Yeah, there it is. The Eagle, main belt pen, ammo debt, 6,741 damage, and yeah, just completely obliterated the Hosho. And the Karasawa at the same time was being absolutely minced by Warspite. Leaves the Japanese with only 2 battleships and 1 battle cruiser. And Soryu is already very, very badly damaged. A couple of HE shells coming in from Warspite. I switch her back to automatic. But I sense things have not gone too well for the Japanese, and yeah, absolutely horrendous amounts of damage still being dished out by the battleship squadron, despite the poor angle of attack for the shells. Quite a lot of ricochets, but still able to do the business. And yeah, it looks like the enemy fleet is starting to run away. I've kind of already got my battleships trying to come around to give chase, but with their huge range and huge bulk, shouldn't be too much of an issue. Switch to HE just because of the number of ricochets I'm getting. Swiftsure, I think, has a bit of a better angle. Warspite, I think, could actually get the hit on Soryu. Tries, anyway. Get a huge number of partials, overwhelming the damage control. I'm kind of hoping that this will finish her off. Get a couple of really nice hits. There's a lot of flooding on board, so I think she's done for, but it's always nice to make sure of these things. Yeah, and there we go. HE shells finally just shaking the remaining bits of ship apart. I don't want to lose Warspite. She's not in danger of sinking, but her structure is quite low, so I am somewhat concerned. And then, yeah, just looking at the utter devastation being wrought upon the Japanese fleet. First ship is still visible above the waves. Just an absolute carnage. The number of ships that have been sunk in an incredibly short amount of time. The Maya's trying her best, but Warspite keeps missing, but Zuiho goes down, and all the attention is then turned on the last remaining ship, the battlecruiser, and yeah, she's in for a bad time. Lucky ship misses most of those, but so many shells coming towards her now, she can't help it. A couple of partials and a pen kind of ruin her day. But she's not going to last too much longer. fired off most of our ammunition as well. Only has 134 shells left. But it's then absolutely ganged up on. And smashed to pieces. Entire Japanese fleet sunk, and I think from, you know, when it started getting pretty nasty to them being sunk was about 20 minutes. And here, I'm just going to slow down time. Here I have a look at the stats. Yeah, 4 British battleships taking out 10 enemy capital ships. The battleships as well having a larger displacement. This would be an absolutely catastrophic loss for Japan. If you replicated this in a campaign, this would be incredible. Warspite there dealing out the most, 23,000 damage by herself, which really shocked me. Just crazy amounts of damage. Of course, she was the one blapping away at the battle cruisers. Just took a fair amount of damage. The Eagle, however, runner-up, thanks to that ammo detonation. And I was pleased with the main gun accuracy as well. 26 to 40%. That is very, very good. Considering the battle started at pretty long range. Yeah, Warspite pretty badly beaten up. Took 28 hits from 19-inch guns and 300 from 13-inch guns. But, you know, still going. Still able to fight. Pretty pleased with how that all-or-nothing scheme held up in that type of engagement. You know, it does work. It's, you know, your ships are gonna need some serious time in dry dock after a fight. But you know, normally they get away with only light damage. I think it would be light on Eagle, Thunder, and Swiftshot, and heavy on Warspite. So I'm having a look here. The number of actual hits to the Citadel is not very much. So that one's mostly on Thunder. It's mostly on the forward section. Swiftshot, not very much damage at all. Again, mostly forward section. Eagle's fine, apart from a couple of hits to her stern, and you know, the odd hit elsewhere. But for the most part, Citadel's held up pretty nicely. And this is where I noticed that I think the gun, the X turret, is actually outside the main Citadel a little bit. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I head back into the designer, and I try and rebalance the ship a little bit. And I'm talking here about the armor, and then, yeah, I try as best I can to try and tuck the ship in. So yeah, I moved the X turret back a bit, and the A turret back a bit, just to maintain the ship's balance. You could fine tune it from there, but that should help out a lot by lessening the damage. And that's pretty much it. Hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you again soon for some more Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Bye for now.